So, you've recently come into possession of some ill-gotten gains. Maybe you're a dealer of illicit substances. Maybe you've appropriated a few high-ticket items which you've flipped for some cash. Or maybe you just happened to find a duffel bag full of dollar bills just lying around with your name on them. However you got your ill-gotten gains, you got them. And now you can sit back and enjoy the money you've rightfully earned for yourself. Except not quite. Turns out the government isn't a big fan of ill-gotten gains, and depositing it all in a bank without a convincing explanation of how you got it isn't very highly recommended. But you can't exactly just leave all this cash lying around now, can you? It's quite the pickle you're in. But fear not, my fellow law-unabiding citizen, for we have just the solution for you. Introducing Money Laundering 101, a step-by-step guide to transform your ill-gotten gains into legitimate cash money you can spend however you please. It's an art, a science, and, frankly, a crime. So you've got your illegal earnings, let's say $1 million in cash. The first thing you need to do is somehow get this money into the financial system without raising any red flags. You need a way to explain how you legally managed to acquire all this money. You need a business. Specifically, you need a business with high cash flow, making it easier to blend your illicit funds with the day's legitimate earnings. Something like a bar. But wait, if your million is currently unusable, how are you going to open this bar? All you need to do is break up this cash into smaller, less suspicious sums and deposit it over time. And to make sure you can get this done quick instead of over the span of months or even years, you can recruit some friends or hire some helpers to deposit some of these sums for you. This is called smurfing. Your helpful little smurfs will take their portions of the cash and deposit these smaller amounts into various bank accounts, or even into different branches of the same bank. It's a slow process and messy as you don't have access to all the funds within one account under yourself. But as long as you stay below the threshold that triggers reporting to financial authorities, you're good to go. And once you've successfully gotten enough into the bank, you can open your brand new bar.
If I asked you to dance, would you say yes? I could go without you, I just don't want to. Stay.
Once it's up and running, you'll run it perfectly legitimately, with cash exchanging hands back and forth all day. And at the end of the day, you count your earnings, which you inflate by adding a chunk of your illegal cash to the legitimate cash takings before depositing it in the bank. This needs to be done cautiously, adding just enough so as not to appear unusual. And of course, make sure your books reflect your very legitimate and definitely not fraudulent numbers. And now you're good to go. Go crazy. Spend your riches on designer clothes and flashy jewelry. Go buy that new sports car you always wanted. Except not quite. You see, Uncle Sam is always watching. And if for whatever reason they grow suspicious of you or your business, you can kiss your cash and your freedom goodbye. One audit is all it would take to send your perfectly legal and definitely not criminal bar crashing down around you. What you need is a way to cover your tracks. At this point, you need to create a web of transactions to distance the money from its original source. You start by over-ordering supplies for your bar and paying inflated prices to a supplier. But here's the twist. The supplier is actually another company you control. This way, the money you spend cycles back to you, but now it looks like legitimate business expenses. Next, you're going to get creative with invoices. You issue fake invoices for services or products your bar supposedly sells, maybe special events or exclusive merchandise. These invoices are paid by shell companies you've set up in other countries, which you also control. Money flows from these companies to your bar, adding layers of transactions. Each layer further distances your original cash from its source. But why stop there? This is the 21st century after all. Cryptocurrencies offer anonymity and can be a launderer's dream. You start converting some of your bar's earnings into Bitcoin or other cryptocurrencies. You're not just buying and holding though, you're actively trading, moving your digital currency through various wallets and exchanges, both domestic and international. This creates a dizzying array of transactions that are incredibly difficult to trace. And for the finishing touch, loan-back schemes. Your offshore shell company loans money to your bar. This loan is actually your own money laundered through the company. On paper, it looks like a legitimate loan, adding yet another layer to the financial web you're weaving. Each of these steps is about confusion and complexity. You want to create a financial trail so convoluted that even the most skilled investigators would have a hard time unraveling it. The more complex the web, the safer your original cash becomes. Through all this, your bar continues to operate, seemingly thriving. To the outside world, it's a successful business, but underneath, it's the center of a sophisticated laundering operation. The key here is maintaining appearances while staying vigilant. The last thing you want is for a simple mistake to unravel your entire operation. Now, you've reached the grand finale of your money laundering symphony, integration. This is where you carefully reintroduce your cleaned money into the economy, making it appear as perfectly legitimate earnings. First, let's talk real estate. You've been running your bar, laundering money through fake invoices and complex cryptocurrency trades. Now, you use some of these clean funds to venture into real estate. But here's the twist. You're not buying properties outright. Instead, you're using your shell companies to purchase and manage these properties. These companies, perhaps based in countries with relaxed property ownership laws, buy real estate and then lease or sell these properties. The profits from these transactions are funneled back to you, appearing as legitimate business income from property investment. But why stop at one kind of investment? You decide to diversify. Your bar, now flush with laundered cash, starts investing in other businesses. Maybe it's a chain of cafes or a tech startup. On paper, these investments are made with the profits from your bar. In reality, it's your laundered money making its way back to you through these seemingly legitimate business ventures. Here comes another clever move: art acquisition. Your bar starts to dabble in the art world, buying artworks as investments or for decoration. These artworks, purchased through auctions or private sales, are paid for with your laundered money. After a while, you sell these artworks at a profit. The money you receive from these sales is clean, legitimate income. Loans play a vital role too. Remember those shell companies you used in step 2? Now, they lend money to you or your businesses. These loans, which are actually your money in disguise, appear as legitimate transactions on the books. You can use these funds freely, reinforcing the illusion that all your earnings and assets are the results of successful business ventures and investments. Throughout this integration phase, the key is to maintain the facade of a legitimate, successful entrepreneur. Your bar is thriving, your investments are paying off, and your wealth seems to be the result of smart business decisions. But beneath the surface, it's a carefully orchestrated plan to make your illegal gains appear legal.
$8 an hour is what I'm worth. Putting shingles on houses that I can't afford. That's 64 for an 8-hour day. A family of 4 can't live that way.
And there you have it, the intricate journey of transforming your ill-gotten gains into what now appears to be a fortune earned through shrewd business acumen. Your bar, a humble beginning for your laundering operation, has now become the cornerstone of a diversified empire, spanning real estate, art, and other investments. As you drive your new luxury car down the city streets, past the bar that started it all, you can't help but smirk at the thought of how far you've come. The fear and uncertainty of those early days of laundering are behind you. Now, you're free to enjoy the fruits of your labor, or rather, the fruits of your laundering.
I'm working for a living. I'm working for a living. I'm working for a living, and it's hurting me.